none of my businesses when I first started felt like a business. It felt like I was just having fun doing something that I loved. Don't let your mindset stop you from walking in your purpose, because I do believe everybody here, everybody on this earth was meant to like be of service based off of their gifts. Knowledge is selling like hotcakes right now. I do believe online coaching is going to go the way of education. Like people are going to educate themselves by working one on one with someone. I funded my own maternity leave. I can't believe, like, I was so proud to tell people, and so many people came to me and was like they actually shut down their business for maternity leave. Like, and they, came back a couple years later, or like they just shut things down, and that was like a pivotal moment for them. What if you could just have the peace and the safety and just exit stage left and live off your savings, and then come back knowing that the business can just start back up when you're ready?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Busy Moms Get It Done podcast. My name is Esther Shittu. I am a journalist and mom of three. So today, I want you, if you're watching on YouTube, or even if you are watching the audio version of this, is think about what ways are you trying to make your life, or what ways are you trying to always be a VIP? And I ask that because today we are speaking with Stephanie Julia. She is the founder and CEO of Always a VIP, which I love that name. Stephanie helps coaches monetize their passions and purposes. Other than her business, she is a mom. And I love her story because she started her business, or started a business online before being a mom, so she can speak out to carry that over if that is your experience, or speak out to even start that if you're still in the weeds of the little stages, which is where she is at this moment. So thank you so much for joining me today, Stephanie.
You're so welcome, and thank you for having me.
Yeah. So can you start by walking us through your entrepreneurial journey? I know that you had a coaching business before, where you were started a fitness coaching business, and you started with fitness challenges on social media. So how were you able to grow that into a place that you felt was very successful?
Community. 100% community. It was more like a movement in the beginning. Everybody that was struggling with staying consistent on their fitness journey, we just really got together and ran challenges. And I didn't know I had a business. For years I thought, I was just a community organizer. That was it. And a challenge organizer. But people would come up to me asking me when I was hosting another challenge, both at work, like this was pre-social media. Like if you go to my page right now, it did not look like that. This was even before I was sharing it virtually. I shared with friends and family, to the extent that my friends and family supported me at the very beginning, but they're just like, "No, Steph, I'm not joining another one of your challenges." But I can't be mad at them because they were like the folks at the beginning. But I when I realized I had a business was when I found out like there were online fitness coaches, like that was a thing. I didn't know it was a thing. I thought that I was just, teaching people based off of my knowledge, my experience, my training experience, and sharing it and then challenging them, motivating them. And when I found out, oh, people actually do this for a living, that's when I started to think about, oh, okay, well, how, like, what's the process, what does the offer look like, how much are they charging? So honestly, in the beginning, and it's a question that I like asking clients who don't have an offer, or they want to create one, is like, what are you doing for others that they are like stressing about, that they would even pay 20, like, because my challenge was like $25, $50, $100, like that they would pay that for, to help, to it's for someone to solve it. Like it doesn't even have, like they were willing to pay someone to solve it. And obviously fitness, people pay gyms, trainers, all that kind of stuff. So that part I knew I had something. I just needed to know, like, how to package it professionally, I guess.
I love that, and I was gonna go into this later, but I think now is the perfect time to bring it because 'cause you're talking about having an offer. What does that mean exactly? And if I don't, like, know exactly how to get into online, but I'm a mom who's like, "Well, I wanna start a business," how do I start, like, thinking about what should I offer that people are willing to pay for? Because I think 2025, it seems little, but some of the businesses that I've seen online, it's like they're asking for 200, 500 to 1,000. So people are like, "Well, I don't know. Will people pay me for all of that?"
Yes. There are $10,000, like, I'm aware of someone who has a $10,000 online fitness coaching offer. And then I'm aware of people like myself who had all the way down to, well, really free. At one point I would do these challenges, and they were just the consistency challenges. So the price, like, remove the price tag. I know I gave an example of pricing, but remove the price tag for now and see like what brings you joy. What would, if someone was to ask you like, I think this might be your thing, right? Like, what is that? And then another clue to ask yourself is, what do you find easy to do that other people struggle with? Like your besties who are just like, ah, man, I hate, well, like, all of mine, they hate working out. I had no problem working out. It was eating right was the issue. And still to this day, it's like that's the issue. So I leaned into that, right? I love traveling. I leaned into it. Some people hated like the anxiety of it. They just wanted to, snap their fingers and be there. So like, look at the clues of how you're living now, because I was almost anything nowadays can be monetized. So that's a clue. It might not be your offer, like, fully thought out, but it can get you down in the right direction. That's actually how I started business coaching. People kept calling me a business coach before I ever was like, man, you gave me advice that, the business coach that I hired made me, your money made, or your advice made me more money. So that was like another, like, oh, really now? Let me see what that would actually look like.
You're like,
Um
"I'm giving free advice."
I really was. So when I was in masterminds and coaching programs, like, I love community. So we would have like separate, all the fitness coaches would be in separate group chats and, helping each other out on it. And then all of a sudden it was like I was leading the group chat, and I loved it because that was what I was really meant to be doing. So it didn't feel like a business. None of my businesses when I first started felt like a business. It felt like I was just having fun doing something that I loved. But I obviously, when I started business coaching, I was aware that it was a thing. So that roadmap was a lot faster because I knew, like, I had been in business coaching programs. So I kind of knew. So if you're like, I don't even know what, because I feel for y'all, right? Like, that is it's a hard place to start when you have like no clue. But look at those little clues along the way, and don't let your mindset stop you from walking in your purpose, because I do believe everybody on this earth was meant to like, kind of be of service based off of their gifts.
As I speak to more moms who are business holders or who are
Mhm.
doing things for business, it seems to me like really it's what are you good at doing already? And I keep bringing up this analogy. I promise I brought it up yesterday and I'm going to bring it up in a podcast that I need to release tomorrow or today.
One of these
But it's
days.
like, right? It's the idea of like, I'm a Christian. So it's like there's this Bible verse or Bible passage of a prophet going to a woman and she's in debt and and she's like, I'm in debt. I have to sell my kids. And he's like, what's in your hand? And I think that's basically what everyone has been saying. It's like, what is in your hand that you can monetize and use that? And so she had like oil and so she went to borrow like a glass and she started to fill it up and that's how she was able to pay off her debt. So I kind of see that like what you're saying is you are naturally a leader and so you were able to give people advice and give them advice and that allows led to business coaches. You are naturally, being focused in a fitness, you were able to help people. That was what is in your hand at the time. But it also seems to me that you're saying that that shifts. Like sometimes fitness, and sometimes it's like it shifts into something else. Would you agree? It's not always the same thing at the same time.
I love that analogy. I'm aware of the story, but I never thought about it that way in terms of like business and starting one. But it's so true. And not just what's in your hand. That's great for like, especially folks that are doing products. Like, how many times there was a point when like shea butter was big and people were creating it. I don't know what happened. I need who anybody listening, slide in my DM because I can't find nobody doing it anymore. I'm serious. I bought like 10 about 5 years ago, and I have like one bottle left. So I'm serious, y'all. Like there are people still desiring what you have. The other thing is not just what's in your hand, but what's in your head. Knowledge is selling like hotcakes right now. I do believe online coaching is going to go the way of education. Like people are going to educate themselves by working one on one with someone. Because honestly, uh, a live course is what universities were, and we paid $100,000 for a live course. Now we can pay $2,000 and actually like work with someone one to one. I would have killed for that level of access back then. And I know I'm making small of it, but if we want that education, it's so much more accessible now. And you have no like maybe you do. Maybe y'all the people who are listening have an idea of how valuable what you have in your head is, especially as moms. Because you have to be like the person what is it, you have to like wear so many hats, so you end up getting really good at a lot of different things, and that has so much value.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So you started your entrepreneur journey, and then you kind of pivoted. What mistakes did you see coaches making that, or what would some of the advices that you were giving that you were like, this is really good as I'm heading into this business of like always a VIP?
The biggest thing is actually a very strong pet peeve that I have, and it's why I focus now on like automation, ads, funnels, and all that stuff. And it scares people when they're first starting out. But real talk, Catch Flights and Fitness was my online fitness coaching program. And when I had decided to be a business and like treat it as such and have an offer and all that kind of stuff. And when I launched it, it was organic, fully organic. I never had a fun like I didn't even know the word funnel honestly when I first started. And I launched it and immediately realized I could not sustain this. And this was pre-baby. Like I don't know how cuz I got some friends that be fighting me on automation and stuff like and they have children. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't you are the level of super mom that I can't even fathom or understand. But I had a 9 to 5 that was pretty much like being a mom, I'm telling you, because it was 24/7. They gave us a car and a phone and told us to always be available. On the weekends, if I went out to enjoy myself, have fun, I would get a phone call and say, come on in. I'd be like, "Yo, I'm 4 drinks in. I'm not coming in." They were like, "I'll give you 2 hours. Come on in." Like that was the level.
No.
So, I used to joke, with my online fitness coaching clients, "You don't want me in the gym as your personal trainer because I would just not show up like, I'm not dependable at a time slot. You want this online version of me." So, I say all that to say it's important that we prepare our business for scale and whatever that may look like. We had a long conversation about like social media marketing, so whatever that looks like, build it so that you can at least see the runway for where you want to be. Like I'm still not even there. Real talk. I have goal like my daughter's in daycare throughout the week every Monday through Friday, and I have goals to where I don't want like I want that to be optional. like she can go because mommy needs a break, but I don't want it to be like I can't actually run this business and be successful if she's not. You know what I mean? So there needs to be like a vision, and you have an attachment to it, which means you have at least some like a it might not be 100% clear because I see it out the twinkling of my eye, but it has a runway, it has a roadmap that I have to take action to get there.
Let's talk a little bit about automation because you kind of alluded to it. How did you get started with automating? And if I'm a mom starting a business, what would your advice be as to like what is the first thing you would say automate, basically?
The very first thing. So you before something that doesn't cost you much is if you're using email marketing, most email marketing platforms have landing pages. So when I first started, I was using MailChimp. And the first thing that I automated was the process in which the lead got into my community. So that was I call them client attraction systems. They're basically like feminine funnels. Like we're bringing in our clients through our system where they don't really feel like they're going, clunky like funnels or whatever. And mine was a free community. And I used the free community on Facebook. So there wasn't like a natural landing page. So what I did to collect their information ahead of time was I had a landing page on MailChimp that collected, opt-in form where it got their name, email, phone number, and then I always collect Instagram handles because it email is great, but social media, in my opinion, like I can have a conversation with you pretty easily. Um, but having that automated, like so that they're getting on my email list right away and getting, a welcome email with maybe like a training that you're really that kind of summarizes like the things that you do and deliver that via email and then send them to wherever your client attraction system is. Like mine was a community, so the email sent them the information to join the Facebook group. That's what I would do first. Like you don't we all love ads, like, let's get in front of our audience really fast, but that does cost money. And something like a landing page can help you take away like one or two steps. And that the reason why I chose that one was because when I first started, that was the most time that I was spending was delivering the freebie or getting them into the funnel. That was like the most of my time was spent doing that. And that's something you can automate pretty easy.
I wonder because it seems like your business or being a business person or businesswoman started authentically for you, which means like you were genuine and like this is helping me, so I want to help others. Do you think then that having starting the free route is the way to go for people who are looking into business, offering something for genuinely free and then going back and trying to sell?
I think so. You said something at the end that made me glitch because you gotta sell the free shit too. Excuse me. You you gotta sell it because I'm not saying it's harder or easier or anything, but nowadays, especially 2026, like folks are outside. We're moms now, and then a lot of moms work with moms. Um, our time is like valuable, and we don't want anybody wasting our time. So you've got to tell me, why should I show up to this webinar? Why should I join this community? What value is it to me? But to answer your original question, yes, I still, even with what I just said, I still believe that people should start with something of value first, because we are also a little spoiled. Or I don't know, spoiled might be the wrong word for this. We're entitled. We act entitled as entrepreneurs, as if we shouldn't sell our offers first. Like, we should we have to tell people why it's valuable. I think I'm, like, losing my, um, it's, like, blinking on me, but,
Yeah, it's okay, but it's fine.
you got me? Okay, but you've gotta, you've gotta start, like, thinking of your entrepreneurship journey as, kind of like this runway. I don't know why runway is coming up a lot, but you gotta start this, like, runway where people have to know, like, and trust you. And that process can be automated, but when you're first starting out, you're not automating. You can't automate zero, right? So you're letting them understand who you are. This is why I like community free communities. You're teaching in there. You're getting to know your value too. Like, in free communities, I love it for new coaches specifically because you're getting to understand, like, your framework and, like, what makes you different because you're talking about it every single week. So yes, yes, and yes, free, and absolutely, like, do it as if you're selling a $5,000 offer.
Yeah, I love that. It's like you show your value from the very beginning, where you don't like just throw the free and be like, this is free. Whereas you just you sell that from the very beginning.
Uh-huh.
How can you describe your motherhood journey? Like you mentioned, you started automating before. How does having a system that is automatic, benefit mothers who are looking into being coaches or starting something other type of business?
I've realized the value of it before I had Keziah for situations like this. And I actually started talking about it heavy, but so I'm gonna answer two ways. When I first created it, the year that I created it, I actually had a miscarriage, and it was a late term miscarriage. It was so traumatic. I never knew. I lived in a bubble. I never knew that after 12 weeks you could. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I was like, oh, 12 weeks, then we're good. There's no other issues that ever happened past 12 weeks. I don't know where I got that thought, but that's what I thought. So when it happened and I had to have a DNC and it was so, like, heavy at the time, I my business was growing. It was doing its thing. We were rocking and rolling. I was growing a team. And when that happened, I was like, "Oh, I don't wanna talk to nobody. I don't wanna sell anything. I don't wanna do anything." Like, I wanna talk to my clients and be in those space in the safe spaces, but I didn't wanna, be so vulnerable, and that's what marketing kinda is. So when I decided to, like, turn on basically an automation that allowed me to take a step back, that's when I was like, "Oh, this is not just so that I can travel, have fun, do all those things. It's also for those, like, life events that slap you in the face and you have no other choice but to, like, default to go into a default setting." But most people, and this is where I'm gonna transition to, like, nail with Keziah. I met so many people during right before I had her, like, while I was pregnant. I told people I was pregnant. I was full-time in entrepreneurship, and I told people, I funded my own maternity leave. I can't believe, like, I was so proud to tell people, and so many people came to me and was like, they actually shut down their business for maternity leave. Like, and they, came back a couple years later, or, like, they just shut things down, and that was like a pivotal moment for them. And I was so grateful. And again, the only reason why I was able to do it was because I had these systems. And it's not, let me be clear. Yes, I could have ran my business automation style, like, what I feel like a lot of people assumed when I was on my maternity leave, that the thing was just going and people were getting value without me being there. On the free side, yes, but what happened was, when I needed to make a ton of money so I could shut down and not have to be of service, not have to talk to anyone, not even have to talk to team, nothing. I had the money to survive. I initially thought it was just gonna be 3 months. I had a hard time coming back, just, as mothers do. And because I'm my own business owner, I was just like, well, that'll be all right. I came back after 6 months, and at 6 months, turned the automated client attraction system back on and made 15,000 the first 2 weeks. So, like, that's to me, that's yes, I would set up for a client some automated funnel that makes them money and all this. But I was like, what if you don't even have to look at nothing? What if you could just have the peace and the safety and just exit stage left and live off your savings and then come back knowing that the business can just start back up when you're ready without thinking it's going to be heavy, because a lot of them didn't come back because it felt heavy to start all over again.
No, I love that story because I think when we do think of automated, you're thinking, "Oh, it's still running," but the fact that you can just say, "You know what? I'm going to focus on me and my daughter for these few months." That's powerful. That's like I feel like that's kind of the freedom that a lot of people want. It's like I can focus and I'm doing it on my own, my own choice is not that no one is forcing me
Yeah,
to come
freedom
back
and
or no one's
safety.
yeah.
Freedom and
Uh,
safety. I wanted that so badly. I probably manifested it because back when I had my 9 to 5, I had saved all my sick leave as if even when I was single, it didn't matter what my life was what was going on in my life. I had collected leave for the possibility that one day I was going to be on maternity leave. And I had collected up to like 6 months, but I was like, I'll this is so that I could leave for at least 3 months at a time, because they didn't pay you for sick leave or, for maternity leave at the job that I had. So I knew, like, when I went full time, I wanted that, but I knew that was gonna be on me to fund.
That's interesting. It's like I think a lot of I'm always fascinated by people who have that much like forethought of like this is going to happen.
No.
Like
No,
I
yeah.
knew I wanted to be a mom, but I wasn't like, I'm gonna say
It's probably the Virgo in me, I don't know.
Can you walk us through, has your system shifted and grown since you started motherhood? Or have you had to relax some of your systems?
Have I had to relax on the business?
Yeah.
I had to create boundaries that were more structured. I actually feel like I do way more now. I don't know what the heck I was doing with my time back then. I, I definitely worked more hours. I can't or I guess I could, but I don't want to work when she's here. Right now she's homesick and I didn't want to reschedule this. I really thought that this was very meta to have her here. But yesterday I took off in the afternoon so that I could take her to her doctor's appointment, and I was walking away so grateful, like, wow, I get to do, and I didn't have to ask anybody. So um, I work less, 100%. It's funny, but it's not because I want to. Like, I am very much a Virgo. In my human design, I'm a generator. Like, I like to work. I am probably like a workhorse in another life or something. And I can't, I refuse to do it when 5 p.m. hits and I go pick her up from daycare, like my cutoff time. I don't take sales calls or coaching sessions outside of the times that she's at daycare. Whereas before I would do webinars at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, sales calls till like 9 p.m., coaching sessions whenever I was awake. I ran fitness challenges at 6, 7 a.m. Now it's just not. It's a boundary that I have. So I actually work a whole lot less, whether I want to or not.
No, I think your time as a mom kind of gets shortened. I like to say that I'm more productive when my children are here
I
than
know
when
you were
they're not.
telling me that. I was like, yeah, I wi- I wish I could, but I think it might be an age thing. Like maybe, when she gets older, it'll be a whole
Yeah,
other thing, but she
yeah.
does not let me do nothing.
Yeah, I do think there is that, like I think when my daughter was younger, my first daughter, we did a lot of nap times, and I was like, "That nap, you
You
you're
was
sleep
But then what do you do
you're
when
sleeping."
she's right now, it's like sometimes I'm like anxious around that time trying to get her to go to sleep, and then some days when she doesn't, I just wanna cry. Like
I cried, I shed some tears, and I was like, "Girl," when I had my second, I was like, but I eased back my third, what is nap? What is
what
a
is
nap?
that?
What is nap? There is no nap because, like, everybody else is awake, so, like,
That's why
yesterday she
yeah,
didn't sleep at
she's too
all.
new
I was
yeah.
like, "Girl."
That's funny.
So for a mom who, can you for a mom who's looking to get into coaching or, things like business, what would your advice be? Do we go social media? Do we go off social media? Word of mouth? How do we do that?
So, I'm gonna tell you my opinion is that everyone needs to be on social media, whether that is just I call them the nine grids, the old school way of just having an announcement like we're still open, see me over here type thing. But even like I post and I have a very decent sized business. I feel like I post once a week. I don't even think I posted last week. Maybe not, I'm not sure. She really wants to call my sister. She keeps FaceTiming her and I keep having to like turn it off. I'm just waiting for her to call back like, "Hey, no, we're not talking to Auntie Nene." So, but I forgot what I was saying.
You said you post sometimes and sometimes you
I do.
you said
I really don't post that often. I wish I posted more. I do find the value, like see the value in it. And I also run ads, so I have that hack. Like I'm not stressing about it because I'm running ads. But even if you start like when I first launched Catch Flights and Fitness, I had a community. I went live in that community once a week and I posted once a week, usually inviting people to the community. It's possible. It's just when you first start, it feels like an uphill battle. Get the first couple of clients, especially my coaches that are charging like $1,000, 2,000, 5,000, like whatever it is. Take a piece of that and put those on an ad campaign with a strategy. Like, don't just be throwing your money away; it will go real quick. But get a strategy you can trust and you can lean on, and automate it. That's I feel like I didn't finish my thought process, or my point before. That is my pet peeve in the industry is that people are being taught how to get it out there, how to launch, but that there's a disconnect when they're thinking that launch is the end game. No, we need to launch and automate and then scale, right? Like, and scaling is just optimizing. I almost want to kick the word out. Then we tweak, we make it better. We take data and learn more, but we first have to launch. We first got to get the idea out there, get our offer validated with a few clients, and then take a portion of that and automate and scale.
I wonder if in today's age, because you mentioned obviously, maybe you need to be on social media, but when you started, it was like maybe once a week. But with today, I feel like there's a pressure to be always on. I don't subscribe to that pressure because I do what I gotta do, right?
It's
But
like I think it's more in our head where we're beating ourselves up about not being on more, right? And I get that because I still do, but you know what I do? I redirect that thought and I remind myself I actually don't have to. And if I feel like it, just go in there and talk on my story. Like you'll see me on my story talking randomly, and if I like it, I'll download that video and put it as a reel. But like we find hacks to make it work. At the end of the day, I want to encourage people. Like at the end of the day, if you're being of service, your purpose will take care of you. Like if you are walking in your purpose, you will see. It's I don't I know why. Like God's not gonna let you fall. He's not gonna let you, I always say, you're not gonna have me looking stupid out here, right? Like you gonna help me figure this out. But as long as you're, like, moving forward and you're doing the things, you're gonna be fine. Like, I almost I feel like whoever there's somebody out there listening to this right now where I just need to hug them and be like, "You're gonna be fine." Throw up the post, even if it's every other week. Or because I feel like social media marketing is something that everybody should like at least know, have a cursory knowledge of how to do, how to post a reel, share your knowledge. But let's say you're like, "Stephanie, I can't do it," because I was just at an event this weekend and I got a lot of, man, I just can't. Then do what you know how to get your word out. Because at the end of the day, if you're being of service and you're getting your word out, that's the point. Social media just allows us to do it on a global level, but get out to your network, go to networking events, go to those lunch and learns and talk about your business, talk about your offer in a confident way. And once you do, in my opinion, once you start talking about it more, social media becomes easy because you can see how to translate that. Like, oh, I just told somebody about XYZ. Now go live and do the same thing.
Do you think that if I am a mom and we just spoke about nap time and, like only having such a short period of time, and I want to get into coaching, what would you say I should do in that 2-hour nap time window?
Woo! Okay, because you gotta be able to have time for marketing, sales, and delivery, right?
So
And
do
we
I
need
just break it up
ideation
every
time.
day?
Say it again.
Do I break it up every day? Maybe one day
So,
I
like,
focus on marketing.
yeah, like maybe a day where you're doing the ideating. You're actually thinking about what's the content that I'm gonna post. What's my goal for this week? How many people am I gonna talk to and invite into my thing, right? And that could probably be like the first 30 minutes to an hour. Please don't use the whole 2 hours for that. Yeah, because it's like we can. I love ideating. I do. Like that's my thing. Like I could spend all day and do that. The next thing is creating the content. So now you have your plan. Now we're executing. We're creating the content, maybe a live. Before I hopped on here, I recorded 5 ad videos. And I think I did them in like 15-20 minutes only because I created the content beforehand. So like I wrote everything out. I knew what I was gonna say. And then, the execution is faster. The next day we're now talking to people because you've posted, maybe you got some engagement, we're talking to the likes, the new follow, whatever it is. We're just inviting people into my client attraction system. That's what's next. Can y'all hear that? She is now jamming on my phone, y'all. This is why I don't do we don't this is why she goes to daycare. I'm not there yet, I'm still evolving. um what was that? Goodness. Next, after you create the content, you talk to the people, you gotta have time for sales calls. So that's the part where I was like, "Ooh, we gotta make time for the different aspects so that uh at least it's gospel music. Uh she started playing gospel music. Good, good job, baby. Oh, but so then the sales call and then the client delivery. And as coaches, you're probably going to start with like one to one. But if you have the capacity, if you have the not the capacity, but like group would be great for that limited time and you're being of service with everybody together. And nowadays folks are loving community. But as long as you're like really helping one to one, like hot seat coaching, stuff like that, you could do client delivery during nap time.
Well, finally, I kind of want to touch on pricing, right? I know what my offer is. I've kind of created the content, everything. How do I price myself? How would you suggest for moms, especially to price us?
Oh, that's a loaded this is hard. It depends on the industry, number one. Cause so like it depends on the industry, it depends on the expertise level, it depends on your ideal client. There's so much. Let's see if I can help with y'all could if you could tell I do a lot of one to one. So doing group stuff, I'm just like Um, what the y'all, she just went into the dog's cage and is yelling at me to because she can't get out of it. You made it out, baby. Come here.
Oh, she's so cute.
How you gonna yell at me because you got locked into the cage? Look, baby.
So pretty. You're so
Look.
pretty. She's like,
Say
oh my
hey.
God.
All right, she gave me a little leeway so I could think about your question. So with with pricing, when you're first starting out, the best signal I can ever give you is what can you confidently say on a sales call, not what you think somebody told. Like if I tell online fitness coaches in 2019, so what, like 7 years ago, there was an industry standard that 3 months of coaching for $1,500 was like what everybody was charging. Now we've got online fitness coaches charging between like $500 all the way for the same service, all the way to like 10,000. Well, the 10,000 offer I know about is a year. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's so across the board. Start with what you know you can confidently get, what you can confidently say on a sales call, and then go from there. Like so a great example was when I was pregnant, I was doing VIP days. I had never done a VIP day. I didn't like know I never was like even a client for a VIP day. So I had no idea. I didn't really like, the only ones I knew doing VIP days were these really big brands, and she was charging $300,000 for a 4 hour VIP. Like it was like I I wasn't charging $100,000 for a VIP day, and I didn't know like where to start. So I just knew I could definitely say $5,000 with ease. So I started with $5,000 and I traveled for this one. And she even told me, she was like, after this, you need to charge more. So my and this was after I was like business. But I had never done VIP days. I didn't know what the standard was. And I gave her the book. Like I gave her so much. After that, I never charged 5,000 again. I went up to 6,000. I did 6,000 for a little bit. And then by the time I gave birth, I was at 7,500. And when I came back from maternity leave, I changed it a little bit and then did 10,000. So like it's fine. She is not happy right now. It's fine to start somewhere knowing you're not going to stay there. But you need to start somewhere so you can confidently start selling it. Cuz there's no way, I still feel it in my stomach. There's no way I could have said 7,500 at the beginning. There's no way I could have said 10,000 when I first started doing VIP days. And at the time I was doing VIP days, I had sold $15,000 offers the year before. So it wasn't necessarily the price, the being able to say the price. It was the my own confidence in delivering value in that format. And so once I did it, I was like, "Oh, okay. This is definitely a $10,000 offer, but I'm still not ready to say 10,000. I'm gonna, I can up it to 6,000, and then I upped it to 7,500, and that felt good. Like I stayed there for the entire time I was doing VIP days.
No, I think what it is knowing your value, but also being confident in like, what can I do? What can I do that it doesn't feel like I'm cheating people or like I'm shorting myself?
Mm.
Because I think that
So I'm like,
sometimes it's one or the other. You either feel like you're shorting yourself or you didn't provide the.
it's a money belief of their own, though. If you feel, look at her. Oh, you can't. She stopped. Soon as I looked at it, she was like, mm-hmm. So money belief. That's what she was doing. And so it's because if you start to think about the other person's pockets, that you might and let's be real, it's probably your pockets that you're thinking about, not theirs, because you don't even know what's in
Yeah,
their pockets.
that's true.
Right?
That's
You don't
true.
know what's in other people. You don't know what's in my pockets. You don't know what's in this baby girl's pocket. We know what's in our pocket. So get out of those people's pockets
Yeah.
and get into your pockets and ask for the sale. And also, I don't know if this is a woman thing. I'm guessing so, because we're used to when dating, she's like moving it. I
She's
told
like,
you,
"We're done. We're done."
I know how you do it. But the dating thing where like we're as women, we're used to being asked out, right? So we're the ones that get to tell people no. And with sales, we have to be okay hearing no. You know that like there's industry standards out there for a reason. Like when I meet folks that have like oh, I have an 80% close rate. I'm like, you're not charging enough. Sometimes I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But like, that's you have to be okay hearing no, and money objections are okay. It's fine. It's when you get 0 out of 10, pitches and you don't move on, then get some sales coaching, maybe some pricing support. But you got to be okay hearing no, and you're not going to get 10 no's. No. No matter how much I was charging, I have never had 10 no's.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I think
You're
you've
welcome.
offered so much valuable insight for moms. How can people reach out to you? Obviously, your Instagram, but how, if they're interested in like reaching out to you as a coach, what should they do?
Absolutely. Like, and first off, thank you so much for having me here and dealing
Thank
with this
you.
one as well.
Oh no, my daughters have been on here. My last one has made a guest appearance once or twice.
So to like get into my energy, even to have a conversation, my DMs are always open. Number one, just even to send a voice memo, ask questions. But if you'd like to like get on a call, have a conversation about what your client attraction system might be and how to automate it, I'd love for you to start out with my quiz. So if you go to thevipcoaches.com/quiz, you can actually take the Discover Your Client Attraction quiz. And then after you submit your results, you'll be invited to a call with me to talk even deeper about what that client attraction system could look like in your specific business.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Please feel free to check her out, and we will see you next time on Busy Moms Get It Done. Bye.
Bye. Say bye bye.